so much, colleagues. Today we are dealing with the deliberation on vote 12, Department of Economic Development and Tourism, in today's committee meeting, which is on finance, economic development and tourism. My name is Deirdre Bartman. I'm the chairperson of the committee. After our deliberations on the vote, we will be dealing with the consideration and adoption of the committee report and any resolutions and actions, if any. Members, I'm going to start with the introduction of members, and I'm going to then hand over to the Minister and HOD to do introductory remarks, as well as take us through the vote. If there's anything that they would like to add, I would like just to mention that the particular vote's pages is on page 285 until 306 in the adjusted budget, just so that everyone knows. I'm going to put my video off after my introduction now, just for connectivity purposes. But members, if you could just please introduce yourself. Thank you. Thank you.
Dirk van der Westhuizen, member of the committee.
Thank you.
Rahima Lakhter, Department of Economic Development and Tourism.
Okay, I just want to quickly deal all the members, and then I'll hand over to Economic Development. Maybe Makamba Bocho, are you still with us?
Yes, Chairperson, my apologies. Can I start with my introduction? Good afternoon to the meeting and the department, and the minister and the chairperson of the session. Member Makamba Boita, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, member. Minister, HOD, you know the drill. We're going to jump straight into it. If you can introduce your delegation, and then we'll start with the vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I see Rahima jumped the gun. Chairperson, it obviously gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2021 adjustments budget for the Department of Economic Development, which, as you know, is vote 12. As you will see in the documentation, it reflects a net downward adjustment of about 17.9 million rand, which means a reduction in the budget from 517.8 million rand to 499.8 million rand for the 2021 financial year. And of course, that is principally as a result of a reallocation in Program 5, which, as you know, is economic planning. We certainly look forward to the engagement, and we do have a short presentation, which I think might be a very good icebreaker for the committee. With that, Chairperson, I would like to hand over to the HOD, Solly Fourie, to briefly introduce us to the team and then to take us through the presentation. Thank you.
Sound on. Thank you, Minister. I am going to, good afternoon, Chair, good afternoon, members of the committee. Just before we start, I'm going to ask that the CFO, Ms. Abrams, if she could maybe just get the presentation going, but I'd like to just also introduce the team. We have from the department, in no particular order as they're coming down on my list, Helen Davis, who's the Chief Director in our green economy. Then we have the CFO of the Saldanha Bay IDZ, Herman Boerneskamp, is there. We've got Ilse van Skalkwyk, our Chief Director of Sectors and Tourism. We've got Jacinta Twynham from Westgrove. We've got Janine Botha from Westgrove. We've got John Skeltimer from Westgrove. We've got Joanne Johnston, the Deputy Director General of the Strategic Economic Accelerator Branch. We've got John Peters, who's the Chief Director of Ease of Doing Business. We've got Joshua Wolmerans, who's the Director of Enterprise Development. We've got Ms. Kashifa Björkes, who is the the CEO of Saldanha Bay IDZ. We've got Ms. Kaleka Zama, who's the Chief Financial Officer of Westgrow. We've got Monica Lil, who's responsible for tourism. We've got Memuna Abrams, who's the Chief Financial Officer of DDAT. Nadia Rinquist from Minister's Office. Pierre Voorges, who is the acting CEO of Atlantis SEZ. Then I've got Priyanka Moodley, who's in our Finance and Accounts Department. We've got Rarima Logday, who's the Director in the Skills Unit. I've got Rashid Tofi, who's the Deputy Director General in the Economic Operations Branch. Robert Le Breton in Finance. Robert is from Minister's Office. And I think those are Tim Paul, who's Chief Director in our digital economy side. Wahiba Saib is the Chief Financial Officer of Atlantis SEZ. Have we got every? Oh, okay. Then I got Ronald Stander, the Chief Executive Officer of Westgrow. We've got Yao Pipra from Westgrow. And that is it. Quite a few people from our side today. Chair, I'm going to hand over to the CFO to just give us an overview of the adjustments estimate via the short presentation we've got, and then Chair, hand over to you to go through the vote, if that is okay with you, Chair.
In order, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Solly. Maybe just can everybody see the presentation?
Yeah, whenever we can.
Okay, so just very quickly, just to highlight, we are busy with we've just gone through the adjustment estimate, and I think as the committee knows, the adjustment estimate provides us with an opportunity to make certain in-year adjustments to our budget in response to changes that has come through within this financial year, or changes that's coming through in terms of programs or our projects. So just to highlight some of the key adjustments within DDAT during the 21-22 financial year and what is reflected currently within the adjustment estimate. So as Minister has highlighted, the department started off with a budget of 517 million, and we're ending with an adjusted budget of 21-22 of 499 million. And that's mainly due to the following key adjustments. One is that we've received funding from MERSETA for our skills development programs that we're voting in during the adjustment estimate. We received an allocation of 2.5 million from the Department of the Premier for the Western Cape Economic Development Partnership. We are giving Western Cape Education Department 363,000, which is an allocation that's part of the MERSETA funding and also a skills development project. Then, due to some of the challenges within the municipal energy area, we are requesting that PT retains an amount of 19.7 million for rollover to the next financial year. And then also, due to some delays within our booster rollover project as it relates to municipalities, we're also asking PT just to roll over a small amount of 2.2 million to the next financial year. Some other key allocations, as I said, small reallocation for our booster program in terms of the 2.2 million, which will be going to the Langeberg municipality, but due to delays within the procurement processes, they are not able to implement the project this year. However, we are moving with the project next year. Same with the MER, as I previously said, PT will be holding the funds for us within the asset finance reserve. And next year, the department will then draw down from that money as projects moves within that area. And then again, as I said, the donor funding of 1913, which is specifically going to be used within our skills development program. Same with the 363 and the 2.5 million to EDP. Then we've got some environments that's moving between Office of the HOD and Sector Development and Office of the HOD in terms of economic policy and planning. And that relates to us now moving our two DDGs into the functional area programs. So previously we hosted the budgets of these two DDGs within the Office of the HOD. we felt that it actually, if we look at where budgets needs to be allocated, they deliver within the functional areas, so it's far better suited to move the budgets into the areas where they are actually delivering. So that's the first two environments that you're seeing coming through on the screen. Then we've got a environment from financial management into enterprise development. Again, this is due to savings that was identified within financial management and moved to actually fulfill a shortfall on our booster fund. We've received far more allocations than what we had available, so it's basically just to mitigate the underspending within that area. Within financial management to knowledge management, again, environment, just to again mitigate some of the shortfalls that we had within the EDP partnership for operational purposes. Within green economy, that's just a shift between economic classifications, where the green economy through the Municipal Energy Resilience Fund is now funding certain programs within key municipalities. Within tourism growth and development, just environment between the tourism program, where they're funding shortfalls within the sector development as it relates to sector briefs. Then some further environments, which is corporate services, to research and development, consumer protection, a delay in the implementation of the consumer tribunal, moving again to research and development, tourism growth and development. That is just where we've actually reduced our tourism safety program. And again, due to COVID, it was the City of Cape Town didn't need the full extent of the funding within that area. And we've moved it to research and development to fund the the economic growth strategy. Then just some further movements in terms of enterprise development, just to cater for the booster program, tourism growth and development. Again, money just to fund the economic recovery strategy within the tourism sector. For skills programs and projects, it's movement between classification or economic classification, basically to fund the stipend programs within our TVET colleges. And that, I think, is the key changes within the adjustment estimate for the Department of Economic Development and Tourism. Thank you.
Thank you so much. HOD, is there anything anyone wants to add specifically before I hand over to members?
Yeah, Chair, I think we're using the presentation just to highlight obviously the key shifts and where those shifts have happened in the adjustments estimate. And largely they are shifts that is happening within the vote. And then particularly with regards to the energy project and the booster project, we're asking specifically for rollover because of certain delays that has happened there. But I want to assure the committee that for both the energy project and the booster project, the commitment to spend is there. It is unhindered. And that obviously in the municipal space there have been one or two challenges why that project was slow, but as we're now moving into the different phases, I can assure you it will pick up speed significantly, and in particularly in the booster fund for Langeberg, there's a certain amount of work that they still need to do before we can transfer the money. And once we've completed that, once the Langeberg municipality has completed that, that monies will be transferred into the space for them to support SMMEs within that area. And that, Chair, is the major shifts. The other shifts that Memuna that the CFO has spoken about with regards to environments, those are shifts within the vote where there may have been savings in one area and we've utilized that in another area where there's been a more pressing priority in the last 6 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Without further ado, then, I'm going to ask members if they have any questions. Going once. Okay, I see one hand, 2 hands, 3 hands. Okay. Member van der Westhuizen, Mkondlo, and Makamba Bocha in that order. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you for that introductory remarks. Chair, my problem with working from a PDF document is that in the past I used to fold over the ears of the pages and then mark it with a pen and so on. So I now struggle sometimes to find it. But I did see that there is an increase in amounts payable to municipalities. It's not a big amount, but the increase is quite significant in terms of the amount, the increase itself. And I was just wondering if we could get an indication of what this funding is for. Now, I was hoping for the life of me, as I scroll through it, I can't find those that know their budgets and where the money has gone will probably be able to recognize which item I'm referring to. Then secondly, Chair, I just want to also highlight, again, I think it's absolutely fantastic that we support all efforts that will improve the safety of tourists to the Western Cape. And unfortunately, I think this is again a cost that we as a province carry for the failures of the national government, because policing is definitely clearly a national competency or mandate. But my question then is, I presume this was compiled before the Omicron variant and all the lockdowns and harsh measures taken by other countries, which affects our tourism particularly badly. How would this adjustment budget have looked differently were we to put it together today, with the knowledge that we now have some almost 2 weeks after our borders have again been almost closed to foreign visitors, etc. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Member Nkondlo.
No, thank you, Chair. I think before I even get to the individual pages, I've got some, I think, more general questions that I would like the department to help me understand. One, I would like to understand, in as far as infrastructure is concerned, I think in the presentation yesterday by Treasury, one of the things I think we were told is the allocation between social infrastructure and economic infrastructure. And one was very much interested in these definitions and how in all of this economic infrastructure in particular plays into the space minister always speaks about, of ensuring that our economy is open, and all of that. Now, I'm trying to understand, in as far as this department is concerned, what would be its contribution in as far as infrastructure is concerned from this budget adjustment? Because I was trying to look at the overview of adjustment provincial and municipal infrastructure investment. And so I'm interested for the department just to give a sense in terms of particularly catalytic infrastructure. What role does this particular department play in that regard? And pardon me, Chair, if I'm asking a more general question, but I'm interested in how the adjustment in light of a budget that is intended to back up the economy to try and keep us afloat from a livelihoods point of view. And that is why I'm asking this question, where exactly is the role of this particular department in considering that obviously you've got the Saldanha IDZ, you also have the Atlantis, and I see in the book that Atlantis has been, I think, delayed in terms of the process of listing, and perhaps they could indicate what is the delay and by when will that delay, if anticipated, by when perhaps such would actually be lifted kind of at this point. So I think that is one question I'm interested in, and I'm raising this in light of one particular issue in as far as SMME, economic physical infrastructure is concerned. SMME is particularly in your working class communities, will always be complaining about, the availability just of spaces for them to hold meetings, the availability just for them to actually have business premises, storage for their businesses. And I'm asking this question, Chair, in light of that kind of issue. And I'm saying in this context, seeing that there is some monies that are moving, it's said, to municipalities, some municipal programs. I'm not sure what exactly are those programs. And the other one, Chair, which is a question I think I've also raised yesterday, as this particular department in terms of economic planning, once again, the PERO has demonstrated the growth and positive jobs increase in the informal economy. And once again, I'm asking the extent to which, through this particular adjustment, these issues from an economic planning point of view are being responded to, because what I see in as far as enterprise development and programs of the department is like a boutique of individualized programs, which one, and I think I've made this question before, one cannot see linked. I'm always told about the overarching economic strategy of the province, but one is unable to then see how all of these individualized projects, SMME Booster Fund and all of these, how are they honed into one strategy that could actually help us to measure the kind of monies from the SMME kiosk in Long Street to the Booster Fund to all these other initiatives, that actually what we wanted to seek is that in the Western Cape, this is the situation of SMMEs, this is a situation of the informal economy, and this is where we would want, through an economic development department, to ramp up, these SMMEs and informal economy as one of the levers to help economic development. So I'm going to stop there for now, Chair, for my questions, and I may come in the second round if you give me, about the detailed questions about how monies were moved from one point to the other. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Regarding the ASEZ, I do know that that question has been answered during the annual report, but I am going to ask the HOD and the CEO of Atlantis just to give you a summary of that answer that they previously gave us. But all of those questions are in order. I am a little bit concerned if you don't ask all of your questions now that you might not get a second round. But I'm going to hand over to Member Makamba Bocha and Member Maseko so long, and then let's see how it goes. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. I've got only two questions. My first question is on the top part of page 285, where it talks about budget decrease of 17.9 million. So I want to know what informed that decrease when we are faced with so many economic challenges coupled with social ills in the province. So that's my first question. And my second question is on page 293, regarding the program 2 at the bottom of the page. I want to know how many informal traders will benefit from the Informal Traders Hub project. Those are my two questions, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Member Maseko.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I do have only one question. I just want to find out, will they roll over for the SMME for Booster, and specifically for the Langeberg? I'm just going to use this as an example. How is the alignment of these transfers to the SMMEs, to the LEDs of the municipalities? Because as they do their IDP plans, also part of the IDP, they include the local economic development that they do. Now, if you have a municipality X or Langeberg as an example, that there was a delay, that is why the transfer wasn't made. What are the challenges that were there in Langeberg? Is it the issue of the municipality not being proactive in making sure that everything is ready for you to transfer, or there is a challenge of the skills within the municipality for them to know the readiness of what the department needs for them to transfer the skills to that. I just want to get the clarity of that challenges that made that transfer not to happen, because I tend to believe that it might be something that is in different municipalities. It will be a municipality that will help us to understand if there is the delays for something that is important to the department of addressing the skills gaps and also accelerating the ease of doing business. How does that happen if you will have a municipality that is not able to access that booster money for the SMMEs? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Minister and HOD, I'm going to allow you to handle who answers what in terms of your delegation. I'm going to ask that you just please keep your answers quite as brief while trying to obviously get to everything, as we do have a number of departments who may be affected by the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll hand over to the HOD and the team for the response, and I may supplement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. And Chair, I will try and answer the questions as best I can. If I don't have the answers, I'll ask the specific individuals in the team. With regards to Member van der Westhuizen's question on the municipalities, on page 288, Member van der Westhuizen, midway down, we're saying that the funds are being transferred to support the SMME development initiative undertaken within municipalities as part of the SMME booster program. Now this question comes up a lot in the other questions in different guises, and we've been, as the CFOs explained, we've been inundated with a oversupply of applications to our SMME booster fund, which clearly shows that small medium enterprises in both the formal and the informal context requires the support of government, and therefore, particularly within a municipality and a spatial context, it becomes important for us to be able to provide additional financing. And so that is where the bulk of those monies are being spent to support small, medium enterprises, both formal and informal, to be able to function and to be part of an economic recovery program. The safety of tourists, how will the budget be different if we know what we know today? Well, obviously, we've not implemented to a large degree the increased safety of tourists because we simply don't have the tourists, which is unfortunate. And so, of course, it's important for us to be able to spend money where it is necessary for us to do so, in the light of where there is a reduced demand. You know, there's increased demands in other places because, you know, we face extremely challenging fiscal constraints, and therefore we have to spend our money where we are. If we've had a significantly growing tourism situation, or where we have a lot more tourists coming in, then the tourism safety program, not only the program that is in the department, which is our tourism safety response program, where we provide support and help to tourists in need, but also the enforcement, where we partner with the City of Cape Town, that may have needed to be upgraded. But because we are in a difficult tourism situation, we've got to actually take our money where it becomes more important. Member Nkondla has asked a fairly complex and good question with regards to infrastructure. And of course, Member Nkondla, as you would know, that we've got both public infrastructure and catalytic infrastructure that's funded throughout the province, and indeed infrastructure is also funded in our municipalities. Of course, the important thing for us is how do we enable government infrastructure to be spent effectively, so that infrastructure in itself can be used as a solid economic growth potential tool Not only does it then provide the public infrastructure, which is the buildings, the roads, the schools, the hospitals, etc., but it also provides confidence to the construction industry, and jobs in the construction industry. So for us, infrastructure for the economy is very important. For this particular vote, that is not in the ambit of this particular vote. It is in the ambit of transport and public works. And we really seek to make sure that within the broader economic cluster, we push quite strongly the need to spend the infrastructure money, both in the municipality space and in the provincial space, and indeed the national government space, because I think any infrastructure spend that happens in the Western Cape, for instance, you know, if we really get the commitment to raise the wall of the Clan William Dam, it's a massive, massive infrastructure project that will boost the economy of the Western Cape, but also not only from the fact that you've got more water and agriculture, but it does also provide an economic catalyst. You know, so I think it's important for us to see it in its whole context from government and not only from a Vote 12 perspective. Of course, we do invest quite heavily in Saldanha Bay IDZ, and we do invest in Atlantis SEZ, and our team is working at the moment with the Cape Health Technology or the BioVac Institute, and they've got a catalytic plan which they need to do to expand. We haven't got necessarily in this budget vote clear indications of increasing that, but you know, we are working quite hard that monies that have been rolled over can be utilized within those spaces. So I think it's important for us to address that. Pier is here, and he may want to add, but the Atlantis SEZ delay in getting it listed as a provincial business entity lies squarely in the realm of the National Treasury Department. Under the PFMA, it is the ambit of the National Minister of Treasury, National Treasury, to designate business entities either as a 3C or a 3D, and we have really transverse, and I know Pierre could add volumes to this, but if you ask me where is it stuck, where is the delay, it is in the National Treasury, and we've got to be able to see how collectively we can utilize all our resources to get Atlantis SEZ listed as a 3D as quickly as possible. And I can assure you, Member Nkondla, it is not for lack of trying by our own Minister, Minister Mania, by the officials, both the DG in the province, myself, and the DG in National Treasury. We've been having engagements, you know, with them, with all of the legal teams for easily about 5-6 months now. And it's really just been one thing where we just simply can't get this done. And we have escalated it, but I'm sure Pierre can answer to that. The question about SMME physical infrastructure, you know, the SMME Booster Fund, and the reason why we've switched a lot of money to the SMME Booster Fund is exactly to help both formal and informal businesses. And why we've done it in a municipal space is to help municipalities provide the infrastructure or the physical presence for SMMEs to grow and expand. So for instance, the model that we're hoping to do with Langeberg, and Joshua will talk about that now, and we're going to ask him to just respond to that, is very much in that. The work we did in Laingsburg municipality, very much based on providing a space. The work we did in Mossel Bay, very much providing a space for SMMEs to be able to trade and to be able to have their trading spaces protected and to be able to function effectively. I note the point of the Pero, and again, you know, we've moved in this department to dealing with SMMEs both from a formal and an informal perspective. So I think it's important for us to continue to support that, and this adjustment budget is very much for a continuation of that. And in our budgets that we're working on now for 22-23, we're actually driving a pivoting towards stronger support for formal and informal businesses to sustainably grow their businesses, and not just quick once-off kind of grant systems, but a longer-term sustainability in that. Member Nkambia Bocha, the 17.9 million, as was explained by the CFO, I just want to go through that again. What informs that? Well, it is that 19.75 million we're giving to Treasury, but asking them to keep that as a rollover for the effective delivery in 2022-2023 for the Municipal Energy Resources Project. So that's 19.7 million. 2.2 million we're giving to Treasury to ask them to keep that within the SMME Booster Fund program for the Langeberg municipality, because we want to see that happen. And then, of course, we're giving 363,000 Rand to the Western Cape Education Department as part of our skills project. And then that total brings us slightly over 22 million Rand. And then we've got 2.5 million that has been come to us from the Department of the Premier, that's going to the Economic Development Partnership. And then we've also got 1.9 million, which the MERS CETA has given us to partner with some of the programs. And that is how the 17.9 million is made up. I'm going to ask the question on page 293 with regards to Langeberg and the alignment, Member Maseko's question on the municipality's alignment to the IDP. I'm going to ask Joshua if he can just briefly respond to those questions. Thank you very much, Josh.
Thank you, HOD. Good afternoon, members. So just in terms of the Langeberg project that we're busy working with, so it will impact on 50 businesses. So we're looking at 25 trading spaces in Bonneville and 25 within the Montague area as well. And it's about looking at the upgrading of those facilities to assist and support businesses to access trading spaces to enable them to conduct their business from those particular localities. So just in terms of the challenges with the Langeberg municipality, they've made a request to the department. So the municipality has prioritized the implementation of this particular project, and they've already commenced with the procurement processes. But they have indicated that they experienced some challenges linked to procurement in terms of the design services, which they envisaged would be completed by around February, March, and hence they requested the rollover of the funds for the new financial year. But I mean, definitely there is constant engagement with the municipality. The department is also engaging with the respective LED officials in the municipality to ensure that there is this issue is prioritized, and whatever challenges are experienced are being addressed with expeditiously. So I mean, a lot of these projects also are part of the IDP processes within municipalities. I think a lot of the municipalities, and I think that's the importance of this particular project, it enables them to get co-funding linked, because obviously there are certain financial challenges that municipalities experience, and the booster fund in that sense assists and supports them in terms of the ability to roll out these trading spaces to businesses that generally don't have access to trading spaces. And I think this becomes critical because it's especially located within the different townships of those respective municipalities. Thank you, Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Joshua. Chair, I'd just like Pierre Voorges to probably just comment on the delays that we're experiencing from his perspective on the listing of the SEZ. Pierre, can you just come in?
Thanks, Solly. Just very quickly, Chair, after the annual report meeting, there's been some progress. As you know, it's quite a scarce commodity these days, these 3D structures, because they're not popular in South Africa. They have gone through major trauma. But we have made our argument, as you know, to National Treasury that the land contribution of the City of Cape Town indeed makes us a 3D because it's land monies or money value not coming from the Provincial Revenue Fund. That has been tested by National Treasury by means of a legal opinion. The legal opinion agreed with our stance and National Treasury consented. And I heard news today that the submission is with the Minister, but obviously the Minister still has the prerogative to say yes or no. We hope that before Christmas that the Minister will make that decision. and that we'll get some good news in respect of the provincial business enterprise listing of the SEZ company. And Chair, that is the last requirement for us to be fully operational and be able to transfer the land onto our balance sheet through the deeds office, and also able to sign lease agreement with the 6 investors that we are processing at the moment. So a little bit more news, more unstuck, but not fully unstuck. It's still the prerogative of the Minister to finally approve or not to approve. I will remain at that. Thank you, Solly.
Thank you very much, Pier. Chairperson, that's all the questions answered.
Thank you so much. Colleagues, we do have a little bit of extra time, so if there's a burning follow-up question, I will allow such now. Member Makamba Bocha, Member Kondlo, I'm just going to ask that you just keep your follow-ups brief, just so that the officials also have time to give you your respective answer as well. But in that order, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think the department have omitted my question. I didn't get any response on my question pertaining to the program that is on page 293 in terms of the Traders Hub project. I wanted to find out if the department can provide us with a number of informal traders that will benefit from that project. Thank you.
I guess that's the trader part of the question. Okay, Member Nkondlo. Member Nkondlo, just remember to unmute.
Oh, sorry, Chair. I'm talking. I didn't unmute. The money that is being moved to the municipal energy resilience project, I see it's actually coming from. I think I only see in one a program from Green Economy, which is about 3.9. So my question is, where else? Actually almost, I think it's 19, if I'm not mistaken, in what is in the 19.7 that is being reallocated. Where is this money coming from? Which programs had to sort of reallocate money to this MER? Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much. HOD.
Thank you very much, Chair and honourable members. I'm going to ask 293. I'm going to refer that back to Joshua. I think Joshua did mention that there's about 50 traders, but Joshua, can you just clarify? 293.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask.
HOD.
Sorry, Josh, before you do. And then I'm going to ask the Municipal Energy Resilience Program if the CFO can probably respond to that, and if necessary, that Helen then also responds to any of the technical issues. Thanks. Josh, can you go ahead?
Thank you, HOD. HOD, as I've indicated, so there's 50 businesses that will be assisted through the particular project. 50 is located, 25 is located in Bonneville, and 25 will be in Montague. So those are the businesses that will be supported through the Langeberg project. Thanks, HOD.
Thanks, Josh. CFO, can you just give us some clarity on where the 19.7 million is coming from?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. I think with the adjustment estimate, there's 2 entries that is being reflected in terms of the green economy. So what you're seeing within the adjustment estimate on page 291, the 3494 that the member was referring to, that refers to the shift within the program. So there's a shift between the program from goods and services to transfer payment. So that you'll see reflected there. The money that leaves the department does not get reflected in terms of these shifts. This is where there was a full budget given for the green economy in the beginning of the financial year. And of that budget, the energy team could not spend a significant amount of the energy budget. And that 19 million is a movement from that budget back to provincial treasury. At this point, it's a movement for reallocation to next year's budget once all these challenges with the municipalities and those areas are sorted out. But it's a movement from the main budget back to provincial treasury to be reallocated to next year. So it's not reflected within the detail, it just shows as a movement that leaves the department back to Provincial Treasury. So it's not being moved from any other program or any other project, it's from the green economy budget back to Provincial Treasury.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Thank you, CFO. Chair, it's over to you.
Perfect, thank you. I just want to check if there's any persons from the public in the meeting. And I have not received anything via email anywhere as well. Okay, with that, colleagues, I'm then going to I would like to thank the department, the minister, the HOD, team economic development and tourism, as well as all the respective entities and their respective boards. I would like to thank you for your hard work, for your dedication throughout this particular year, especially because it's been through a global pandemic, first of its kind. In this regard, our economy and particularly the tourism industry has suffered greatly due to COVID and the impact of the lockdown regulations. And as a department, you really have gone above and beyond this year in order to assist our province in protecting lives and livelihoods. So thank you. I will allow you now to exit the meeting should you want to go about your day-to-day operations.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, members.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Have good holidays, everybody. If you take a break. Bye.
Thank you so much. Members, just a reminder to please stay behind. We will now be dealing with our views on the vote. So I'm going to ask members to raise their hands if they have particular views that they would like to register on the vote. I see member van der Westhuizen's hand. I see member Nkontlo's hand. Okay, in that order.
Chairperson, I would like to propose that we, having being able to study the adjustments budget, that we support the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, member Nkontlo.
Thank you, Chair. I would like first, before I move on my vote, to maybe request that maybe through you, Chairperson, if that has not been done, since you indicated that it was explained in the annual budget, in the annual discussion about the issue of Atlantis SEZ, since the delay it is said is in the minister. Perhaps if we can write a letter to the minister just to understand what is the delay and how soon can we expect some conclusion on the matter. So I would like to move for us to do that. The second part, Chair, in line with Rule 90, as the ANC will reserve our position on the vote to present it in the House as part of the debate. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I'm just quickly going to ask members, are you happy with if I then write a letter on behalf of the committee to the National Minister of Finance to request reasons for the delay in ASEZ's signing off? Okay, I'm going to take silence as concurrence then. I see members van der Westhuizen's hand has gone up, so I'm going to quickly take his hand before member Maseko's. Member van der Westhuizen.
Can I just ask that we just follow the order of the agenda? First, just deal with the report or our vote, our opinion on the vote, and then when we come to resolutions, that we just keep that for that agenda item, please.
No problem. We do have some extra time, but that is in order. Member Maseko.
Chair, I was raising a hand to support Member Andrikas.
No problem. And just for the record, I also support this particular vote. Member Makamba Bocha, would you like to indicate your view?
Chairperson, thank you very much. I would like the EFF to express its minority view not to support the vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's quickly. Thank you, Ms. Kluta's already started the edits. Wonderful. Let's quickly see here. Okay, so the economic, let me see. Not to support, yes. And then separately, African National Congress reserves its views. Okay, and then there at the second paragraph, just to take the does not support out. Okay, let's just check quickly if all the numbers are all correct. Just take out the words, if any, next to minority view. Perfect. Okay, members, if you are happy with the report, if I could have a mover for the report. Member van der Westhuizen.
I move that we adopt the report as it stands.
Thank you so much. If I could have a seconder for the report. Member
I second the move.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to now read out the report just for the record. If you can just put it back up quickly, please. Thank you so much. Okay, so the committee report reads, Report of the Standing Committee on Finance, Economic Opportunities and Tourism on Vote 12, Economic Development and Tourism in the schedule to the Western Cape Adjustments Appropriation Bill B6/2021 dated 7 December 2021. Standing Committee on Finance, Economic Opportunities and Tourism reports that it has concluded its deliberations on Vote 12, Economic Development and Tourism, in the schedule to the Western Cape Adjustments Appropriation Bill B6/2021, referred to the committee in terms of Standing Rule 188, and that it supports the vote referred to it. Minority view in terms of Standing Rule 90, the Economic Freedom Fighters expressed its minority view to not support the vote, and the African National Congress reserves its view. And at the bottom is just space for my signature. But with that, thank you so much, members. Now we'll be dealing with the resolution that's been proposed by Member Nkondlo. Are there any specific views on that resolution, or are members in order with it? Going once?
All in order, Chair.
Okay, no problem. I will then, on behalf of the committee, I will then write to the National Minister of Finance to ask regarding reasons for the delay in SEZ signing off. Thank you so much. Are there any other resolutions or actions? Okay, if none, I would just like to thank our procedural officers, Ms. Adams, Ms. Klitter, Ms. Motsapi, I saw her online earlier, Mr. Hassam, our sign language and translation services. Really thank you for all of your hard work this year, the passion and dedication. I think as a committee we've achieved so much this year, and we could not have done it without you. And finally, but not least, I would like to thank the members just for your support, for your level of engagement, for your enthusiasm throughout the year. I think we have achieved many things this year that many people didn't necessarily think would be possible for a committee. And I just want to say I appreciate all of your support and your efforts in order to make our committee better and in order to take our province to another level. I want to wish you a happy festive season. Please stay safe, stay warm. I look forward to seeing you all in the new year, and I do just ask that you take cognizance that there are some committee meetings which we have already scheduled for the first quarter of next year. So when we get back in 2022, we're going to be hitting the ground running with some resolutions that we've previously taken that's already been scheduled. Thank you so much, members. Member van der Westhuizen.
Thank you, Chair, and I think I have to speak on behalf of the members of the committee. If we say thank you very much for your leadership in this committee. May you also have a wonderful time with your loved ones, and please return safely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. With that, the meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, members.